Hello, we are in gate 48, the gate of depth, the gate called the well, and we're in the fifth line, and it is called action. This can be a very immature kind of depth, because all it wants to do is act. And of course, the very nature of the fifth line is to be a universalizer, always ready to act in a moment of crisis with something that's practical. So action is built into this line, but restrained action is also built in. In this case, the Mars energy is in the exaltation, and it brings a readiness to respond whether or not the depth is really there, at least the depth for that particular collective solution. The moment that you're involved with either the collective or tribal circuitry, you really have to see that nothing is going to work for you unless you're clear in entering into your contract with the others properly, because they're interdependent. It's the way that the tribe and the collective work. Because of that, it's a contact that is going to be incredibly profound. The keynote of sharing for the collective and support for the tribe tells you right away that these are fundamentally, deeply social integrated processes. When you get to the fifth and the sixth lines, you are in the collective themes, and the 48 belongs to the collective circuit. We know that the fifth lines have a special quality in that they are the penultimate of the hexagram. They bring together all of the basic qualities of the hexagram, and they have the capacity within them to universalize. The fifth lines that are in collective circuitry have a deep resonance to that circuitry. And universalization is something that can be powerfully moved through these fifth lines. The exaltation says a natural urge to apply energy to action, a taste for action. I've got the depth, I can see the pattern, let's do it, let's do it. These people who are really interested in getting the pattern out, getting the corrective process out, getting the experiment done. They're saying, listen, I may sound like I'm all about theory, but really I'm all about action. And the fifth lines are deeply seductive. Let me seduce you to do an experiment with my wonderful depth. This is a classic fifth line. It stands off on the side. Everyone knows that it's ready to put its solutions into action. Even if it doesn't actually have a good solution, it's ready to put it into action all the same. All you have to do is make that possible for them. You lay out the carpet so that they can just dance down it and do their thing. And if you're doing that as yourself, your fifth line, then yay. If you're not, then whatever the opposite of yay is, which would also be yay, but not, if you know what I mean. In the detriment, an over-reliance on the need for protection that in times of social renewal is obsessed with the details of planning at the expense of action. Insecurity with one's depth that can fail to take action. Is 48, it's a projector energy. The depth has to be recognized by the other. And then the other is, it's more than just saying, hey, that's a great solution. It's saying, that's an interesting solution. Let's try to experiment with it now. And that's different. And it's not so easy to find that bit. So what happens so often is there's an insecurity in the fifth line, in that solution that they have. It isn't necessarily the solution that's being called for, and they don't know if they can really hack it, because if their solution fails, then they're going to suffer the natural chaos that comes to their reputation from others by changing their projection field. You can see the resonance to the second line here. The paper tiger, the second line who's called out for something, then they can't fulfill that projection. It's a similar story here. On one side of this line is the natural urge to apply energy into action. On the other side is the fear that the experiment won't work. And so it's safer just to stay in the back room, keep working on the details. They're afraid of their depth, of not being adequate enough. They're afraid of failing. So the Sorry, blackbird distraction. The fifth line, they go the poor blackbirds at the moment. I tell you a story in a moment about my blackbirds. We have half a dozen of them. Uh, and it's that time of the year. I don't know if you have blackbirds yourself, but they go through a kind of molting and they all look either a bit like turkeys or a little bit like vultures because all the feathers come out of their necks and they molt. They go through their autumn molt. They look so sad. And in the summer and in the spring, they're so full of life and sleek black feathers and beautiful orange beaks and amazing. This time of year, they all look like they've been severely plucked, ready for someone's table. It looks very sad. Anyway, that's my blackbird story for now. I would turn around and show you, but as soon as I do that and move, then they fly away, so I can't do that. Anyway, the fifth line in the 21, this is the grounding. I just put some there. You don't need any more already. The fifth line in the 21 is called objectivity. This is what is grounding the 48 in this line of action. Here you go. There you go. Before you jump into action, just take a moment. What is the guidance of your authority? Did you employ your strategy? Two questions that might nudge you out of the personal and into the objective. Oh, it's so easy to get sucked into the collective, and the splenic gates can be very spontaneous. But it is only healthy for you if your splenic center is defined. Only then, and through strategy and authority, of course. So having a little distance, having a little objectivity can be very helpful. The moon is in gate 43 still, been there since 2:25 this morning, the Ajna gate of insight. Insights that are not necessarily backed up by facts and which can diverge considerably sometimes from conventional perception. It then visits, the moon then visits gate 14 at 13:39, possession in great measure, the gate of power. No, the gate of power skills, the gate of power skills. The accumulation and retention of power through skilled interaction, coupling grace with control. This is a deeply material gate and one that supplies the entire energy for the material way. It's about having access to resources and material wealth and the power and the skill to distribute and direct resources in a way that supports humanity's need for change and mutation in order to survive as a species. All of those little keynotes in there will, I'm sure you'll be recognizing them by now. Individuality, mutation and change and all of that kind of thing. And this is an individual activation. And finally, more power. This is where we move into the gate of power. The moon transits into gate 34 at 48 minutes past midnight, the gate of power, where power is only great when its display or use serves the common good. It's a gate of empowerment. It's a potent source of pure, vital energy emerging through response. It's a sacral gate, empowering individuation and the expression of uniqueness. Delicious. That's us for today. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. And it's fun, isn't it? This journey through the wheel. I'm so enjoying it. It's great. A couple of people have said to me recently, how do you have the energy to do this every day? I love it. I have it. And of course, I don't do it every day. I do them in blocks. I do a gate at a time. And so and I have the energy for it and I'm really enjoying it, which is great because we've still got a few months to go. And exciting. Bear and I are already talking about what am I going to do after I've been round the wheel once? Do I carry on going? Do I bring something new to it? Is there any information that could come in that could provide another journey that could just be picked up and gone with? Interesting. Will there be an invitation to continue after I've done this year? I don't know. We shall see. There's still a little while to go, but until then, until tomorrow, not until March, until tomorrow, have a good life. And I love you. I will see you then. Go gently. Bye bye.